GM cutting jobs, 14,000 of them, closing factories, 5 of them, and President Trump did not like that plan. Here's what he had to say. Roll tape.
I was very tough. I spoke with her when I heard they were closing, and I said, you know, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon. That's Ohio, and you better get back in there soon. So we have a lot of pressure on them. You have senators, you have a lot of other people, a lot of pressure.
Now, what would our resident libertarian, our resident constitutional scholar by the name of Judge Napolitano, well, let me guess.
Oh, you know exactly how I feel about this. We've been emailing over it for 2 days.
Okay,
the government has no business telling GM how to run its business.
They're not telling them how to run their business.
He's putting pressure on them. And one of the clips that you did not run because you're so generous of spirit and big-hearted is where he said to Ms. Barra, the chair of General Motors, "You're messing with the wrong person." What kind of a threat is that? What is the government going to do? Punish GM? Take its assets because it doesn't like its business judgment?
How about demanding repayment of the, I think it was $12 billion that they have not yet repaid us for bailing them out in 2008.
You know I love you, but that is an unfair allegation to present to me because I condemned that loan at the time, sitting right here with you.
Well, why shouldn't the president say, hey, you're making a ton of money, you haven't repaid us for the bailout, and now you're cutting workers in Ohio, of all places, which is my heartland.
Well, this might very well
He's entitled to say what he's got to say.
He's entitled to say what he wants to say. Of course, he has freedom of speech just like you and I do.
Right.
But he is not entitled to he's not entitled to threaten to use the power of the government to stay her hand, because these are free market decisions. Her duty of loyalty is not to the government, it's to the shareholders. Surely you agree with that.
I agree that her first responsibility is to the shareholders.
Right.
But it's the responsibility of the president. It's his right to say to the Treasury, why don't you call up GM and get that money back?
The Treasury should never have given them that loan, and you know that's
not the point. Why shouldn't the President of the United States say to his Treasury Secretary, hey, get that money back?
I don't know what the terms of the loan are.
If they're going to do this, if they're going to knock 14,000 jobs out and 5 factories, we want our money back.
It would depend on the terms of the note, as you know. If it's a demand note, he can demand it whenever he wants. But I suggest to you there's some sort of a time issue in there where he can't get that money back.
I'm not a lawyer, but I did spend last night in the Holiday Inn Express. You know the Express. Okay.
Oh, my.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, but you
reduce everything to legalisms.
You do believe in the free market. And the free market says that I hire you to invest my money. The government stays out of it.
And there is absolutely no reason why the President of the United States should not express his opinion when a major corporation goes against the interests, not of just shareholders, but against the interests of the American people.
As long as it's just an opinion. But when he says we're putting pressure on them, that's dangerous. That leads to private ownership, private risk, and government control. And we know what that's called.
What?
Fascism.
Oh, get out.
That's the definition of it. That's the definition of it.
Oh,
is there anybody else from the gallery that wants to complain?
Get out of here. Fascism. Oh, please.
That was in the subject line of my email to you yesterday.
I know it was.
I had to get you to read it.
Go right for the New York Times. Mr. Krugman will be delighted to take your article. But
would you invest your money in a business that was run by politicians? Of course not.
But I would invest my money in General Motors if I thought that their moves were going to enhance my interests as a shareholder. I have no objection to that whatsoever.
And that decision should be made by the politicians or the people to whom you've given your money?
It can be influenced by a politician, especially when that company owes that politician in our country a great deal of money.
The government can't deliver the mail. You want them to run General Motors?
No. I'm a taxpayer. I want my money back. You've made a ton of money.
On that I'm with you. The money should never
I want my money back.
And they've been running banks for a while. Fannie, Freddie, hello? Government institutions?
Collapsed.
I still think you're all right, Judge, no matter what.
Same here, Sir Stewart.
I have to say, thank you, Judge. It's in the script. Thank you, Judge.
That's the only reason you're saying it.